murder that takes place, expect them to be out to your place looking at what have you done to prevent workplace violence, okay? And there's no standard that covers this, all right? There is nothing in the OSHA regulations at this point in time, although they tried several times to pass specific items that need to take place, like your specific regs, and if anybody's seen the OSHA book, it's about that thick, full of regulations that tell you what you need to do, and it involves manufacturing and retail all mixed together. But they have a gigantic exception, which is called 5A1 of the Occupational Safety and Health Act. That's the general duty clause. You have a general duty under the OSHA Act to provide a safe environment for your workers. So if you have done nothing in the workplace violence setting, okay, you've done absolutely nothing, and you're handling money, and you're a retail outlet, you're in trouble, okay? And what are they going to want to see? They're going to want to see effort. Because they have no specific reg that says you have to do X, Y, Z. All you have to do is, I've taken an effort to prevent workplace violence. That could involve anything from a drop-safe policy, procedures for closing the store that are clearly communicated to your workers, installing security cameras in different areas of your establishment, training your employees, okay? We have an employer here at clip12 that's done nothing in terms of training, or at least they're aware of not what's done on the upfront training, okay? Tell your people, look, money is money. It's paper. It isn't worth your life, okay? Nobody be a hero if we're being robbed. Give them the money. You probably have insurance to cover losses such as this, okay? So train your people about workplace violence and how to handle a situation that happens in workplace violence. The $161 is transferable into a much more significant cost when you look at what OSHA could do to you. The serious fines, which are those likely to cause death or serious physical harm, that's $7,000 per violation. Now, if you're an establishment, a retail establishment, they give you some reductions for your size if you got less than 100 employees, and that's under the corporate belt. So, not the store or retail location, but under the corporate helm, if you got less than 100 employees, you're going to get a reduction in that $7,000. Your history, they're going to go back 5 years and say, have you had any violations at any of these retail establishments? And if you haven't, you're going to get a reduction in that $7,000. Good faith. This is where the written programs come in place. And this is where we had the employer not knowing whether people had been trained or not knowing really what programs they had in place, where Mr. Clankin needs to get his act together, because you got a lot of written programs from OSHA that even though you're exempt from the 300 and 300A laws, okay, you got fire evacuation procedures that people need to know about, okay, firefighting procedures that people need to know about. Hazard communications, you got to have a written hazard communication plan. It has to be communicated to employees. Lockout, tagout, okay? Even in a restaurant setting, they need to be trained on. You have a hazard assessment survey, and this is something that was touched on earlier. You have to go around your restaurant and actually survey potential hazards that may exist, kind of eyeball places that may result in hazards, and then recommend a personal protective equipment to address that, okay? And if you do your hazard assessment survey, you better have workplace violence on it, okay? That's what OSHA's going to want to see, i.e. effort, when they come in and look at your place, if they come in for a workplace hazard violence situation. $70,000 for willful infractions under the OSHA, okay? So this is coming right off your bottom line on the profitability of your organization. So we can see how $161 in work comp costs all of a sudden becomes a bigger number when you consider stuff outside of the realm of just the workers' comp costs. I put at the bottom of Clankin